everyone, it's Katrina. Number 10. The Babylonian Stargate. The United States of America invaded the country of Iraq in 2003. Since the invasion, there have been a lot of theories going around over why it happened. Some blamed it on terrorism, some blamed it on weapons of mass destruction, others said it was over oil. But what if the truth is stranger than anyone could have imagined? What if the US military went to Iraq to secure a Stargate used by the ancient Sumerians and the Anunnaki? This theory has taken on a life of its own. For all we know, the US really did go to the Middle East in search of ancient technology. The US Army wouldn't exactly reveal such a bizarre and seemingly ridiculous mission to the public. But if the theory is to be believed, the US started a war with Iraq so that they could secure the Stargate portal located inside the Great Ziggurat of Ur. The Ziggurat of Ur was built in one of the first major civilized cities on Earth, Ur. The structure was built during the early part of the Bronze Age around the 21st century BC. The pyramid-like ziggurat was already so old in the 6th century BC, during the rule of the Neo-Babylonians, that it had crumbled to pieces. It had to be restored by King Nabonidus. Its remains were scoured by archaeologists in the 1920s and 30s. Then Saddam Hussein undertook another reconstruction in the 1980s and fixed the broken staircase. It's the final restored version from the 1980s that still stands to this day, although its bones go all the way back 4,000 years. Inside the ziggurat is supposedly an old piece of Anunnaki technology. It was a stargate that allowed the gods of Mesopotamia to travel back and forth between our world and their own. What do you think? Let me know in the comments, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Number 9. The Roswell Alien. In July of 1947, military men stationed near Roswell, New Mexico, supposedly discovered a crashed vessel along with an alien. That happened on July 4th, Independence Day. Eyewitness William Woody lived near Roswell at the time. He was outside his home with his father that night when he saw a bright object come streaking out of the sky like a comet, and it hit the ground hard. The object in question was an alien spacecraft. At least that was what the Roswell Army Airfield said when they issued a press release 4 days later on July 8th. The Army openly said they had recovered a flying disc. However, somebody obviously made a mistake. The Army quickly retracted this statement and replaced it with a new one, saying they had recovered a crashed weather balloon. Between the Army and the eyewitnesses, it's clear to most people that something which looked a lot like an alien spaceship crashed into the New Mexican desert. But it wouldn't be until the 1970s that things started to heat up. That was when retired Lieutenant Colonel Jesse Marcel said in an interview that the debris retrieved from the desert was indeed extraterrestrial. After his intense interview, the conspiracies and the talk of a cover-up began. Shortly after, a video emerged of what appeared to be military personnel transporting the badly damaged body of an alien. Then came Area 51, the very place the alien and the debris from its wreckage were supposedly taken by the military. Many believe that hidden in a locked vault somewhere in Area 51 is real alien technology. Only those at the highest level of the military know about it. Perhaps not even the presidents. What do you think? Number 8. Ancient monkey soldiers. Militaries have always used animals in their campaigns. Horses carried shining knights into battle, dogs patrolled army bases in the days of the Romans, and even monkeys played a part in war 1,400 years ago. Archaeologists in the UK recently discovered the remains of Barbary apes, macaque monkeys native to northern Africa. It came as a bit of a surprise because there shouldn't have been any monkeys in the UK around the 5th century. But these monkeys were special in that they were buried with military offerings. Archaeologists can't say for sure, but they feel that these monkeys were soldiers. If they weren't soldiers, they may have been the pets of soldiers. Barbary apes can live for an astounding 30 years if they remain healthy. The species spread into southern Spain from Morocco, making it the only wild monkey species in Europe. The Romans had a particular fondness for them. In 2001, remains of one such monkey were found in Libya, Spain. It was buried with a bronze military belt buckle from the Roman era. Based on all the evidence, military monkeys were the real deal. Historic experts just can't say exactly what role they played in ancient European armies. They may have been a source of entertainment, they could have been used for labor, or they may even have been sent into combat. Number 7. CIA mind control. The CIA recently shared millions of declassified documents on the internet. The documents contain a lot of really boring bureaucratic information, but a few of the pages are downright shocking. A small collection of files revealed that the US Army investigated psychic abilities to try and create an army of psychic soldiers. It was called Project Stargate, and it launched in 1978 and went on for 20 years. This wasn't just a small, poorly funded investigation into the paranormal. The Army looked into creating a psychic super soldier for 2 decades. They experimented with mind control techniques and explored various reports of psychic phenomena around the world, all in the name of creating psychic soldiers. It was what they called psychoenergetic science. One of the main goals of the military personnel working on the project was to identify real psychic people. Army personnel had to investigate reports of special individuals who could use their minds to read thoughts or manipulate objects. They looked at spiritual healers in Russia, those who could control fire in Greece, and even investigated tales of poltergeists and hauntings. This was the real X-Files, real government agents who investigated the impossible. But in 1998, the program came to a close. They had discovered several individuals who seemed to possess psychic abilities. However, those with Project Stargate could never prove it beyond a doubt, nor could they replicate psychic powers in a lab. And now for number 6. But first, I want to give a big shout out to Susan Meyer and Paul Rivas. Thanks so much for watching and supporting Origins Explained. If you are new here, be sure to subscribe and join the family, and let us know what videos you'd like to see next. Number 6. China's military guarded pyramids. Just outside the ancient city of Xi'an in China is a mysterious group of hills and earthen mounds that look an awful lot like pyramids. These strange structures are shrouded in mystery, hidden inside an overgrown forest, and guarded day and night by military personnel. Many believe these pyramids are 8,000 years old and are holding a secret that the Chinese government doesn't want anyone to know about. It's all very bizarre, so bizarre that mainstream archaeologists don't even want to talk about it. The tale of the pyramids begins in 1912. American trader Fred Meyer Schroeder allegedly saw them while moving through the area. He wrote in his diary that there was a giant pyramid over 1,000 feet tall, and that all around it were smaller pyramids. It was unlike anything he had ever seen before, but nobody else at any point in history ever wrote about them. Then, 3 decades later, U.S. Air Force pilot James Gossman was flying over Asia when he witnessed a structure twice the size of the Great Pyramid of Egypt and pure white. He claimed it had a massive capstone of crystal that shimmered in the sunlight. He wanted to land, but there was no way he could. Then, 2 years later, Colonel Maurice Sheehan had the same experience. In modern times, in the 1990s, word had gotten around that there was something strange hiding in rural China. But when German investigator Hartwig Hausdorff went in search of it, he found nothing but the Chinese military. The military were patrolling the whole area and wouldn't let anyone in. The place where the huge pyramids are supposedly hiding is now a forbidden zone where no outsider is allowed to venture. Now I want to see it more. Number 5. Artifacts at 29 Palms. 29 Palms, California is home to the Marine Corps Air Ground Combat Center. This is where Marines practice real combat scenarios inside fake Afghan villages. Members of the infantry practice throwing grenades, aircraft drop bombs, and the earth is battered with massive artillery shells. The training facility is 1,100 square miles in the Mojave Desert. However, underneath the training ground are much older pieces of technology dating back 12,000 years. Archaeologists with the Defense Department recently uncovered a new cache of prehistoric Native American relics. The Marines recently decided they needed more room for their base, so they licensed 300 square miles from the Bureau of Land Management. But before they could start dropping bombs, certified archaeologists had to come in and look for artifacts. And that was when they found relics from the Serrano, an ancient people who once lived in California. They found charred pieces of mesquite pods, pictographs, rock drawings, and evidence relating to Native American mining operations. There are over 2,000 sites scattered across the army base, most of which have been combed over by archaeologists. But the newest site is causing major contention. Captain Justin Smith from the Combat Center says troops desperately need the land for brigade-level training. But the military archaeologists say it could take years to fully excavate their newly acquired 300 square miles of land. Number 4. The Army of the Horse Lords. Vladimir Putin is allegedly trying to recreate an army of Scythian horse lords who lived over 3,000 years ago. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu recently announced that it was his intention to clone an army of ancient warriors who battled across the Siberian steppes long before the Roman Empire ever came to power. The minister happens to be from the Republic of Tuva, a place where archaeologists have uncovered a lot of Scythian burials. Because of the permafrost that blankets the land here, researchers have found extremely well-preserved Scythian burials. These Scythians were a group of semi-nomadic Iranian-speaking warriors who mastered horse riding and galloped across the rolling hills and plains of Siberia. They were known across the ancient world for being particularly violent and merciless when it came to battle. It now looks like Russia is hoping to use DNA from 3,000 years ago to recreate the original armies that ruled Russia. But the whole thing is shaping up to be something of a circus. The minister reportedly assigned a team of Russian researchers to extract the DNA samples. He even brought in a shaman to oversee the archaeological digs. And now, with help from the Russian Geographical Society, Russia is supposedly bringing the horse warriors back to life to create an army of the dead. Number 3. Shocking artifacts from World War II. During the recent construction of a military cemetery for fallen Polish soldiers, archaeologists came across some truly sensational discoveries. They found a map template belonging to a Polish officer from World War II. The template belonged to either Major Henryk Sucharski or Captain Franciszek Dabrowski. The pair led the defense of a key military transit depot in the war. They would have used the map template to mark troop movements. Every single officer in the Second Polish Republic had one of these. The templates were pivotal in understanding where the soldiers were at any given time. Other discoveries include an ashtray, some smashed tableware, an old ointment label from a Warsaw pharmacy, a bottle of cologne, and the frayed spine of an encyclopedia. What makes the military discoveries so exciting is that we know who they belong to. They were expensive things that belonged to officers in the army. They also found a trio of bomb craters left behind by explosives made in September of 1939. The Germans took control of the Polish garrison here on September 7th. The Germans then tidied up the area they had largely destroyed, even filling the bomb craters with rubble and debris. Thanks to the construction of the new cemetery here, all of these historical war relics have finally been revealed. Number 2. Air Force archaeologists. A team of archaeologists with the United States Air Force were conducting an investigation in the Utah desert when they found something shocking. Archaeologists with military branches often find Native American artifacts at sites on U.S. soil, but their discoveries don't always get reported. This time, they found something that intrigued everybody. They found evidence of some of the earliest tobacco use in human history. 12,300 years ago, Native Americans sat around a hearth on what is now the Utah Test and Training Range and chewed tobacco seeds. This is a big deal because it pushes the cultural roots of tobacco back 9,000 years. That is absolutely huge. Up until now, the only real evidence of humans using tobacco was from about 3,000 years ago, before the Maya civilization was even around. But now it looks like the earliest humans to arrive in North America were immediately drawn to the tobacco plant. Anya Kitterman from Utah's Air Force Base says the discovery is a huge new piece of the puzzle. Still, archaeologists don't know why Native Americans were so quickly drawn to the tobacco plant. But with more research, they are hoping to understand the enduring significance of tobacco in human society. Why do we like it so much? Number 1. Ancient Assyrian reliefs. Archaeologists in Iraq are trying to repair the damage done by ISIS, and they've made new discoveries. At the ancient city of Nineveh, not far from Mosul, archaeologists uncovered amazing Assyrian rock carvings from 2,700 years ago. The work was done by an excavation team of Iraqi and US scientists. They were working on the reconstruction of the Mashki Gate, an extremely important piece of Assyrian history destroyed by ISIS militants in 2016. As you may already know, Iraq is still home to the cities and monuments of the earliest civilizations, such as the Babylonians and Assyrians. But the terrorist organization spent years blowing up important archaeological sites. Now that the destruction is finished, scientists have the rough task of trying to fix what was destroyed. The Mashki Gate was already reconstructed in the 1970s, only to be run over by a bulldozer. Under the ruins of the gate, researchers found 7 slabs of marble decorated in ornate carvings. University of Pennsylvania archaeologist Michael Dante said he was left speechless by the discovery. It was like a dream, and something nobody had predicted. There, on the 7 slabs of marble, were carvings of Assyrian soldiers firing arrows, as well as palm trees and fig trees and other magical scenes. These slabs had once been part of King Sennacherib's palace. King Sennacherib was the ruler of the Assyrian Empire between 705 and 681 BC, made famous by his role in the Hebrew Bible. Thanks for watching! What do you think the military is hiding from the world? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. See you later. Bye!